What is similar to finding out that Santa isn't real, but for adults? Acne doesn't go away after teenage years. Removed. Retirement is not an age. It is a financial state. Discovering that good friends you thought would always stick together drift apart over time, sometimes never to be heard from again. Removed. It takes a while to realize you no longer get 3 months off in the summer. UK adult here. You're not guaranteed a job on leaving uni with a degree. The council doesn't give you a house when you fill in a form. All over the world, living a healthy, risk-averse lifestyle doesn't mean you won't get a lifelong illness or terminal disease. When I was a kid, I assumed that all adults, and particularly those in positions of power, were intelligent, competent, rational, organized, sane and sensible. Boy, was I in for a shock. For me, it was finding out the cheapest studios in my area run for $1,300 a month, and most don't even include utilities. It was also finding out working doesn't instantly mean you can survive on your own financially. That the funny, interesting stories that celebrity guests tell on late-night shows are actually rehearsed and planned ahead of time. Accepting that life isn't fair and that people often get ahead through deceit, corrupt bargains and backstabbing, often applied against very good people. Garbage tea people often win. A full-time job isn't 9 to 5. Commuting sucks, and usually lunch is off the clock too. The number of people that are willing to or have cheated on their spouse. It wasn't an issue in my marriage, but since I've become single, my eyes have been opened. Growing apart from your best friends when you all move far away, get focused on careers, have kids, etc. Sad face. How quickly time flies when you are an adult. That when all is said and done, almost everything is decided by money. Price of cheese. That school traffic doesn't stop, even though you've not been in years. The dinosaur bones in museums aren't real. Sad face. Realizing that it takes a lot more than academic competency to make it in the real world. I wasted my potential academically in high school, so I worked my butt off in college and got a 3.9 GPA in a useful major. Now my friends who were more focused on networking are in better positions than me, and those weak students with better work ethic, focus than me are doing better at their jobs. No amount of academic competence is going to disguise your inability to focus or your underdeveloped social skills. Net versus gross income. Finding out how much health insurance costs. That I thought I was so smart that I would be a millionaire by 30. When you begin to get bored of the hobbies you did as a child but can't get into any new ones. The strip dancers' pole spins, not heredit, apparently not all of them do, some are called static poles. All those radio shows where they call people at home or work, War of the Roses, etc. are completely fake. There are companies the radio stations use with actors that play the parts, or sometimes they use other non-on-air radio station employees, but it's never authentic. It would be way too unpredictable to call a real individual, and the real responses would be way more boring. Buying things because they're on sale doesn't actually save money. When your parents tell you if you go to college and work hard, you'll be employed straight out of college, married by 25, kids by 30, and the company you work for will take good care of you for the rest of your life. That imported beer you're drinking was probably brewed under license down the road and tastes nothing like the original. That life isn't fair. Things don't always turn out the way they should. It can be confusing and disheartening when something terrible just happens for no apparent reason. No justice, no balance, no resolution, it just happens and it sucks. That company hour is there to look out for the company's interests, not yours. For example, if you have a problem with a coworker that you take to hour, sometimes the best solution for the company is to get rid of you instead of the problem employee. That £1,000 isn't that much in the grand scheme of things. Finding out there isn't a perfect someone for everyone. I am 18 and I regret reading the comments. When you find out Equifax isn't really giving you $125 after the class action lawsuit. That douchebags and idiots get ahead in their jobs very often. When practically any amount of alcohol will land you with a hangover in the morning. The realization that who you know greater than what you know, in terms of employment. Students from better socioeconomic backgrounds will always have better prospects than those with no connections, no family support, no luxury of time, money to explore their options. Even if the poorer kids get better grades in university, they are less likely to end up in management positions than better-off graduates with worse grades, from a recent study I now can't find. Your job doesn't give a garbage about you, they use you to make money. The hour department isn't there to help you even if you are sexually harassed by the boss, they are there to protect the company. You know when you buy a donut and you think that there will be an awesome filling in it, but it ends up with being nothing in it? Yeah, that sucks. When you land your dream job and your realtor shows you the homes you can buy in the Bay Area. Finding out that 90% of the time insurance does absolutely nothing for you. Finding someone willing to go on a date with you is very difficult. You have all the freedom in the world but at the cost of responsibility. There is no Bob under 40. Learning the impact of your vote on a presidential election in a heavily red or blue state. There are certain medical procedures that insurance won't cover and you cannot have done if you don't have enough money. No matter how bad you need it. i.e., root canals. Realizing the first 18 years of your life is a free trial, and you have to start paying for things you never realized, or exit the game permanently. Realizing that comedians' stories are often made up for the joke. Finding a girlfriend. If you work hard and put all you have into your work, the business will reward you with raises and promotions, and someday you might be the CEO. Realizing you put yourself into crippling debt to put yourself through college only to graduate and have to live with your parents because every job wants 5-year experience for an introductory position. That life isn't black and white. And then sometimes it can be. That all governments are corrupt, some more than others. That you don't actually have any rights, especially if you're poor. You have no way to defend yourself or call out injustices when you can't get a lawyer. Finding out none of the hot singles in your area are interested in you. Finding out that happy fun time is pretty much never as good, hot, romantic, physically comfortable as movies, society will have you believe. It will still always be worth it. There is never a magical time when all the problems were solved, except maybe in hindsight. Most of your life will be spent working, and much of that work will be a grueling B, stressful, or C, boring. There's no magic bullet that guarantees you will avoid this. When you're unemployed, even though it is often a rough time, try to treasure the freedom. Life isn't an adventure story with you as the hero unless you are very lucky. You are as flawed and prone to poor decision-making as everyone else. Your living spaces probably won't be as nice as what you see on TV. When I went to claim my first-time home buyer credit on my income taxes this year after buying a house last fall, only to find out that ended last year. That local MILFs in my area really don't want to fluff me. That all your hard work in school doesn't mean anything in the real world. Your parents are only human and are just as fallible as anyone else. Finding out college doesn't guarantee you a great career. There is no master plan. You're on your own, do what you want, it won't matter in the scheme of things. Your company losing your 401k. That nobody but you gives a garbage about your emotions, it's a hard pill to swallow for sure. Realizing that you can't change the world. That the good people don't always win but the garbage tea do so quite often. Life ain't no fairy tale like you might picture as a young adolescent. That life is not, and will never be, fair. That time is more important than money. When you realize that you have wasted almost all your time on this planet just to work and sleep. That the interior car lights being on at night while driving is not illegal. Finding out that not all criminals go to jail. Realizing that the people who are in politics, build airplanes, and do all the other important things are no smarter than you, and in many cases are dumber. I legit believe a big reason conspiracy theories are so popular is because it is more comforting to believe some shadow cabal is running the show over the alternative of reality. A retirement fund you can live off for 30 years, also, retirement. When you find out real happy fun time is nothing like prawn. Yeah. Less screaming. Santa is not real? Having babies in the house isn't all goo goo gay gay, fuzzy wuzzy time, it sucks. Kids are cool, babies are garbage. The Monday to Friday 9 to 5 office job life is not the be-all end-all career. Instead I'm in retail, working crazy hours any points of the week. Weekends are a myth to me at this point. Your college degree will most likely be worthless. Finding out that USA is not the freedom country we learned about in school. It's just a bully with big weapons. When you realize that the world really does try its best to get you down and nothing's easy. Red velvet cake is just fancy chocolate cake. I can't find the study now, but about 10 years ago I read one that showed American public opinion has next to no effect on American policy. It's a non-democracy that happens to have elections, like Iran, or China.